Right now, something unprecedented is unfolding within our solar system, an event that has never been recorded in the entirety of human history. NASA is in a race against time to comprehend it before the opportunity is lost. On October 17th, 2025, precisely at 3:42 a.m. Eastern Time, the Deep Space Network facility in Goldstone, California, detected something extraordinary emanating from 3I, Atlas, the mysterious interstellar visitor currently hurtling toward our Sunday. It was not random interference. It was not a malfunctioning instrument. What the facility recorded was a coherent, repeating electromagnetic pattern that persisted for exactly 11.3 seconds, cycling with mathematical precision every 47 minutes. What makes this discovery so profoundly alarming is that the signal's intensity increased by 340% during a 5-hour observation period, intensifying as though something inside that hollow traveler from beyond our solar system was powering up, preparing for whatever comes next. I am Michio Kaku, and what I am about to share represents either the most important scientific breakthrough in human existence or a warning that we are catastrophically unprepared for what is approaching. Because 3 days after the initial detection, the signal evolved. It became directional, and according to trajectory analysis, it is now pointing directly at Earth. Let me take you back to explain why this development is so significant. For months, astronomers have been tracking 3I Atlas as it moves toward its perihelion, the critical point where it will be closest to the Sun, scheduled for October 29th. We have documented its inexplicable deceleration, its hollow structure, its abnormal chemical composition. Yet we assume we were merely observers, cataloging data like 19th century naturalists collecting specimens. We were mistaken. The data now suggests something far more unsettling. It has been observing us in return, and now it seems to be attempting communication. The signal was first identified by NASA's Deep Space Network antenna, DSS-14, the 70-meter dish known affectionately as Mars, one of the most sensitive radio telescopes on Earth. The detection occurred during routine monitoring of 3I Atlas as part of an expanded observation program following its Mars flyby on October 3rd. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the shift supervisor that night, described the event in an internal report that was leaked to the scientific community just 48 hours ago. At exactly 3:42 a.m., the baseline noise floor spiked not erratically, but in precise, evenly spaced pulses. The signal operated at 1.4242 gigahertz, the exact frequency at which hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe, naturally emits radiation. Astronomers refer to this range as the water hole, a frequency band that any advanced civilization would likely use for interstellar communication, recognizing its universal significance. The choice of frequency alone implies deliberate intent. However, this is where things become truly extraordinary. The signal pattern does not correspond to any known natural astrophysical process. Pulsars emit radio waves, but their rotation produces lighthouse-like beams with distinctive spectral fingerprints. Magnetars produce bursts, but they are chaotic and unpredictable. Solar flares, coronal mass ejections, even fast radio bursts, all of these leave recognizable imprints in the data that experts can easily identify. This signal matches none of them. Instead, what NASA detected exhibits characteristics that have deeply unsettled communication engineers. The signal contains embedded structure, nested layers of complexity that indicate the presence of encoded information. Think of Morse code, simple dots and dashes that can convey elaborate meaning through timing and sequence. Now imagine something exponentially more advanced, operating across multiple timescales at once. The 11.3-second main pattern contains sub-patterns that repeat every 1.7 seconds, and within those, even faster modulations occurring every 290 milliseconds. It is akin to discovering a multi-layered language, each level potentially containing different types of information. Dr. Sarah Chen, a cryptography specialist at the SETI Institute who was urgently brought in for analysis, subjected the data to every natural pattern recognition algorithm available. She tested for pulsar imprints, solar interference, and terrestrial contamination from satellites or ground-based transmitters. Her conclusion, submitted in a classified report to NASA headquarters on October 19th, was staggering. The probability that this is a natural phenomenon is less than 0.003%, while the likelihood of artificial origin exceeds 99.7%. Pause and let that realization sink in. A SETI scientist, someone trained to maintain rigorous skepticism and avoid false positives at all costs, has stated in an official document that we are almost certainly receiving a deliberate transmission from 3I Atlas. Yet NASA's real panic began on October 20th when something even more disturbing occurred. For 3 days, from October 17th through October 19th, the signal remained constant. Scientists worldwide, those granted emergency access, began preliminary decoding attempts. Some discovered mathematical constants embedded in the timing ratios, others detected sequences of prime numbers. But then, at exactly 11:15 p.m. on October 20th, the signal abruptly changed. The new configuration lasted precisely 8.4 minutes. During that short window, according to analysis from the Arecibo Legacy Observatory in Puerto Rico, which had been hastily reactivated for this emergency, the signal exhibited directional characteristics. Rather than broadcasting equally in all directions like a beacon, it became a focused beam. Computational modeling of the source's position within 3I Atlas, combined with its current trajectory and orientation, revealed something that should be impossible. That focused transmission was aimed directly at Earth. Consider what that implies. Natural radio emissions from celestial objects radiate outward in all directions, dispersing like ripples on water. A directional beam, however, requires advanced technology, precise antenna arrays, phase control systems, and energy management far beyond what nature produces spontaneously. Humanity only developed comparable capability within the past few decades. Yet here we are, detecting it from an object that originated beyond our solar system, traveled across interstellar space for millennia, and somehow retained the power to transmit targeted communication across astronomical distances. The implications are staggering. This is not sunlight reflecting from a tumbling rock. It is not random noise-forming coincidental patterns. This is active transmission, intentional, intelligent, and deliberate. And the timing arriving just 9 days before perihelion, when 3I Atlas will slip behind the sun, rendering it unobservable, cannot possibly be coincidence. Now I must address the question everyone is silently asking. Why is this not the leading headline on every media platform across Earth? Why has NASA not held emergency press conferences? The answer exposes something equally unsettling about how our institutions manage information that could alter the course of civilization itself. Within NASA, there exists a classified framework known as the Discovery Protocol, established after Oumuamua's passage in 2017. That outlines how the agency must respond if credible evidence of extraterrestrial technology is ever detected. This protocol mandates a 72-hour internal review period before any public disclosure. The purpose, according to official documentation, is to confirm authenticity, eliminate false positives, and coordinate with international partners and government agencies. Yet leaked internal communications reveal that this 72-hour window has already expired. We are now on day 5, and NASA's public stance remains one of absolute silence. The European Space Agency has issued no comment. China's Space Administration, which has recently prided itself on increased transparency, has been completely silent since October 18th. The International Astronomical Union, normally quick to update its public registry of major astronomical events, has remained inactive. This synchronized silence among multiple nations and agencies raises a deeply troubling question. When organizations that typically compete for recognition suddenly exhibit perfect unity in withholding information, one must wonder, what are they afraid of? Avi Loeb, who has been observing 3I Atlas intensively through his Galileo Project observatories, addressed this silence directly in a blog post published yesterday. He wrote, and I quote, "We are witnessing institutional paralysis in the face of the extraordinary. The signals from 3I Atlas represent either the most important scientific discovery in human history or the first step toward contact we are not prepared to handle. Either way, the public deserves transparency. Science progresses through open inquiry, not through classified committees making decisions behind closed doors. What troubles me most, as a theoretical physicist who has spent decades contemplating the implications of first contact, is the timing. 3I Atlas will reach perihelion on October 29th. At that point, it will pass behind the Sun from Earth's perspective, vanishing from our observation for approximately 3 weeks. Our ground-based telescopes will be rendered useless, overwhelmed by solar glare. Even most of our space-based observatories will have little or no visibility. What if the signal we detected is not a greeting? What if it is a countdown? What if 3I Atlas is warning us that something will occur during that period of blindness when we are unable to observe? Allow me to walk you through 3 possible scenarios that keep me awake at night, each more disturbing than the last. Scenario 1. The benign interpretation. 3I Atlas is essentially an automated probe, a robotic explorer dispatched by a distant civilization thousands or even millions of years ago. The signal is simply its operational broadcast, a standard transmission it sends whenever it encounters another technological species. In essence, it is saying, "I am here. I have detected your signals. I acknowledge your presence." When it reaches perihelion, it will perform the observational or data collection procedures embedded within its programming, then continue its voyage through the galaxy. We may be nothing more than one brief stop along a vast multi-system expedition. Scenario 2. The warning hypothesis. The signal may be a deliberate alert sent before perihelion because something significant is about to happen. Recall Avi Loeb's earlier hypothesis regarding the hollow structure possibly housing smaller probes. What if the parent craft is preparing to deploy those units while it passes behind the Sun precisely when we cannot witness the process? The transmission could be a formal declaration of intent. "We are about to release observation units throughout your solar system. Do not interfere." Scenario 3. The test hypothesis. This is the one that unsettles me most. What if the signal is diagnostic? What if 3I Atlas is not only transmitting, but also monitoring our reaction, assessing our technological capabilities, our coordination, and our behavior under pressure? Any advanced civilization exploring the stars would logically evaluate emerging intelligences before deciding on engagement. The signal could therefore be an intentional provocation designed to measure our collective response to potential contact. And at this moment, that response appears to be panic and suppression of information. What might such observers conclude about our readiness? The mathematics behind all of these possibilities converges toward a single unavoidable truth. The probability that an interstellar object exhibits every anomaly seen in 3I Atlas through purely natural means is infinitesimal. A hollow structure, an impossible deceleration, a trajectory aligned with our ecliptic plane to within 5 degrees, a Mars flyby timed with odds of 1 in 50,000, mysterious green spectral emissions, and now coherent electromagnetic transmissions at the hydrogen frequency using directional technology. Each anomaly alone challenges conventional understanding. Combined, they shatter it completely. We must now seriously consider that we are not simply observing an unusual comet. We may be experiencing humanity's first encounter with an artifact of extraterrestrial intelligence. And the terrifying part is not that we are uncertain of what 3I Atlas intends. The terrifying part is that we are about to find out. October 29th is 9 days away. When 3I Atlas reemerges from behind the sun in late November, we will know. Our telescopes will be realigned, our instruments recalibrated. If new objects appear in our skies, if the signal resumes in a different configuration, if 3I Atlas alters its course, then we will have our answer. Until then, we stand at the precipice of the greatest uncertainty in human history. Are we alone? The question that has haunted humanity since our ancestors first looked toward the stars may finally be answered not in words, not in greetings or symbols, but in mathematics and light. As a scientist, I am obligated to follow evidence wherever it leads, even when that path points toward conclusions that defy comfort. The evidence surrounding 3I Atlas increasingly aligns in one direction. We are not witnessing random cosmic coincidence. We are witnessing deliberate intent, something that crossed light years of empty space to arrive precisely now at the moment in history when humanity possesses the tools to notice. That signal, the one transmitted at the hydrogen frequency, increasing in strength as perihelion approaches, is not accidental. It is a message, and in 9 days, we will discover its meaning. The universe is speaking. The only question is whether humanity possesses the courage to listen. Subscribe to follow this story as it unfolds, because what happens next may define our species' place in the cosmos forever. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Are we witnessing genuine contact, or are we projecting meaning onto patterns that do not exist, desperate to find significance in a universe that offers none? Either way, October 29th will bring answers to questions that have haunted us since the dawn of our awareness among the stars.